Next up, we have the Orlando Magic, who are 5-2 so far this season. So, Jackie, they were a playoff team last year. Still not sure anyone expected to start this good. So, is the Magic a good story or a good team?
So I think they have the potential to be both. When Jonathan Isaac went down in the bubble, he was arguably their best player, and you thought, oh boy, this is going to be tough for them. But Vucevic has more than picked up the slack. He's off to an incredible start. The problem the Magic has, and it was a problem last year too, is it's scoring. It's perimeter scoring in particular. If your name isn't Vucevic or Terrence Ross right now, nobody else can shoot from the three-point line. So what teams are going to start to do is push guys like Markelle Fultz, who's shooting about 39% from the floor, out beyond the rim and say, go on, try to beat us that way. But I love Steve Clifford's defense. I love the focus this team has. And they have, you know, their rookies have struggled a bit, like all the rookies, I think, because it's so tough not to have a preseason, all that. So I think they are still a playoff team. And Vucevic, what he's doing is just amazing.
I agree. They are a good story in my eyes. I'm a big fan of Steve Clifford. He's one of the best defensive-minded coaches in the game today. But when you look at this roster, Markelle Fultz has got off to a great start, in my opinion. The way that he's attacking the basket, rebounding at a high level, facilitating for others, pushing the pace. Aaron Gordon, he's come alive now and is finally giving the Magic what they have been expecting out of him in this short sample size that we have been witnessing. But the guy who's been the X factor besides Big Vucevic, excuse me, is Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross has been coming off the bench and he has been tearing the league up. Right now, if you had to hand the Sixth Man of the Year award to anybody, it would be him. And I'm so mad at myself because I left the Orlando Magic out of my preseason rankings in my top 8 in the Eastern Conference. And shame on me because they are a great story. They are a good team, and they will be in the playoffs this season.
Well, let's stick in the East because next up we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are above 500 with a 4-3 record. Perk, your old squad, one of them, are the Cavs a good story or a good team?
They're a good story. They're getting better, Rachel, but I'm a huge fan of J.B. Bickerstaff. If you look back last year, I wasn't a fan of the hiring of Beeline. I thought that he was a little bit too old for what the players they have in Garland and Colin Sexton. Listen, they drafted Colin Sexton a few years back in the lottery, and a lot of people doubted this young man. But he's a young bull. He plays with a tenacity, a chip on his shoulder, and he's getting better every single year. And I'm not surprised that the Cavs are right where they at right now, and they have been in every game that they played in, and it's because of the leadership of J.B. Bickerstaff. He demands the best out of Andre Drummond, and he has the respect of the locker room, and that goes a long way.
You're dead on with that. JB has really made a huge difference. And what do you ask of your young team? What you ask of your young players is to come back better and stronger and have taken that leap. And Colin Sexton certainly has done that. The numbers he's putting up has been great. And so has Winston Garland. Now, he's out now for a bit. But Sexland's the best nickname in the entire NBA. And so I love that, too. And here's the thing. Kevin Love hasn't even played yet, really, of any consequence. So the other player that we should mention here is Isaac Okoro, who's also been out now. But when he was in there, he was very, very important to them. So if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, what do you want to do this season? You want to identify and define your future going forward. You're on your way now with Sexton, Garland, and Isaac Okoro.
All right. Well, last but not least, again, staying in the East, I want to get to the 4-3 Atlanta Hawks. So, Jackie, are the Hawks a good story or a good team?
I think they are both. They're off to a great start. And the thing that interests me about them was they made all these moves. They added a bunch of veterans, some of whom, Gallinari and Rondo, really haven't even been able to contribute yet because of injury. And in the midst of all this, people started speculating, well, I guess there's no room for John Collins. Well, John Collins has had something to say about that. He's like at 17-5. He's putting up great numbers. And he looks like a guy that's here to stay. I mentioned that the veterans that haven't even contributed it yet, I like where this team is headed. I think they are a playoff team. Trae Young is a flat-out star. He just is.
Yep.
And we talk all about Luka Doncic. Maybe it's time to put that aside for now and just pay attention to what this kid is doing. Not just scoring, but also getting everybody else on his team involved. I really think this team is one of the most fun teams in the league right now.
I agree. It's both for me, Rachel and Jackie. When you look at the Hawks, look at the 4 guys, their core guys that they drafted. You know, you're looking at Trae Young, you're looking at DeAndre Hunter, you're looking at John Collins, you're looking at Cam Reddish. All these guys have gotten better. Trae Young is a superstar, but Cam Reddish, I knew he had the offensive skill set, and I knew the future was bright for him offensively. I didn't know he was I didn't know he could defend the way he defends at the high level, the intensity that he brings, the addition of adding a guy like Clint Capella, a lob threat, a guy that can anchor the defense, protect the basket, and then John Collins, a guy that said, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice and bet on myself. He turned down a $4-year, $99 million extension to say, you know what, I'm worth more. And he's showing that now. And now you're bringing in a guy like Herter and playoff Rondo. Rondo haven't even played yet, but just his leadership being in that locker room. I'm looking at this Atlanta Hawks team, and they are very dangerous, and they arguably have the most scoring firepower in the NBA.
Well, look, we got a little bit of Rondo, at least so far. Perk, that's a great point about the draft picks, too, because the ownership made a decision, right, to stack the front office based on scouting experience as opposed to just going for a flashy name. Right. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the benefits of that, and they're an exciting team. They're a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.